There's been a lot of rumours circling around the Canon R6 Mark III recently with a potential release date in 2024. And there's also been some rumoured specifications that have just released. And as an R6 Mark II user myself, are these specifications enough for me to upgrade to the new camera? So apparently this camera is going to have another new sensor. So that'll be 3 R6s now with a different sensor in each camera. And in the R6 Mark III, it's going to be pretty much the same sensor that is in the R3, which is a 24 megapixel stacked sensor, which is pretty huge for photographers out there, especially sports photographers, because now you don't have to spend that extra $4 grand, I think it was, or $3 grand on the R3 if you want that super fast stack sensor for if you want to shoot any sports. And with that stack sensor, it means it's going to have a CF Express card reader as well, which increases the price of the overall camera experience, because you do have to buy CF Express cards, which are more expensive. And with that, it's also improving on the video features as well, with 4K 120 frames per second and full HD at 240 frames per second. At the minute, my R6 Mark II can shoot in 180 frames per second in full HD, but it can't shoot 4K 100, which is going to be a huge upgrade, and a lot of people are definitely going to be looking at this camera a lot more. It is nice sometimes to get that super slow motion in that crisp 4K, and that is, I'm not really missing, I find, in the R6 Mark II, because I don't actually shoot a lot of slow motion. But if I did have it, I know I'll probably use it a lot more, because the 1080p version is just, it's not as good as the 4K. But I think that comes down to the log profile and also the recording formats that the R6 Mark II can shoot in. So if the R6 Mark III can improve on the recording codecs and also the log performance, then that'll be a huge reason for a lot of people out there to upgrade to that new camera. Apparently it's going to have improved IBIS performance and improved focus sensitivity, and that's pretty much it on the specifications so far on the R6 Mark III. There's no mentions of stills frames per second at all, or what log they will put into that camera. But if I'm being honest, what I think will happen with the R6 Mark III, there won't be C-Log 2. The gap between the R6 Mark II and the R5 and the R6 and the R5 when them cameras first come out was the 45 megapixel sensor for stills, and then the 4K 100 frames per second and the all-eye codec. But now we're getting the 4K 100 frames per second and that stack sensor in the R6 Mark III. What is the difference really going to be between the R5 Mark II and the R6 Mark III? Why would anyone buy the R5 Mark II when you can just get the R6 Mark III? And I'm sure they're going to put all their AI features that are in the R5 and the R1 in the R6 Mark III as well. So there's going to be a big like £2,000 difference, and what will that £2,000 difference involve basically? And I think it will be that C-Log 2. The C-Log 2 is what would make me upgrade to the R6 Mark III 100%, but that camera would just make the R5 Mark II, not a lot of people would go for it, because why would you spend an extra £2 on the R5 Mark II when you can just get the R6 Mark III? I think like the 4K 100 was the gap in video between the R6 Mark II and the R5. Now that's going to get 4K 100. I think the gap in the video performance between them two will be the C-Log 2 and the waveform capabilities on the R5 Mark II over normal C-Log 3 and probably the same IPB codecs, because codecs on the R5 Mark II are amazing. So a nice upgrade would be to shoot in all-eye in the R6 Mark III. And will I upgrade to the R6 Mark III? Well, with them specifications, it will be a definite no for me. One, because I don't want to go through the process of selling my camera, paying all this extra money just to get 4K 100 and a stack sensor. But for me, if there's no C-Log 2 in the R6 Mark III, then I won't be going near that camera anytime soon. Maybe in the future, but C-Log 2 is the biggest reason why I'll upgrade the R6 Mark II at the minute. It's a great camera, but I would love some better video features in it, and the R5 Mark II is what my eyes are set on. What do you guys think? Are these specifications worth it to you to upgrade from the R6 Mark II or not? Or if you're an R6 One user, is it now the time to upgrade to the R6 Mark III with these new specifications? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think it will come out this year, and is it worth it? Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See you later.